All right, we are live.
All right, it's Andrew and Alex here, and we're here to be able to show you how to reduce your fuel consumption and get a payback within 1 to 3 months on a kit that you can put on existing vehicles to reduce your fuel consumption by anywhere from 30 to 50%. Next slide. Um, FEVs are known as plug-in hybrids. We just played with it, made it hydrogen electric, so you can combine two different things at the same time. Um, the most sold SUV in North America is a Toyota RAV4, and everybody wants the RAV4 Prime because, as you can see here, it'll do 40 to 100 miles per gallon, and that's simply because it has an electric motor and it also gets plugged in with a decent battery. So that's a lot of people are paying anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 and paying and waiting 9 to 12 months to be able to get one of these things. So it's about a $10,000 to $15,000 between a regular RAV4 that gets about 23, 24 miles per gallon and the 40 to 100 mile per gallon plug-in RAV hybrid. So a lot of people, this is really about being able to turn any vehicle into, including motorcycles, into a plug-in hydrogen hybrid. Next slide. So on your left there, you'll see um, it really is it's an alternator, but what happens is a lot of vehicles the last 15 years have this ability that when you stop at a stoplight, the engine will turn off, your gasoline or diesel engine will turn off and then turn on really quickly. So this is a powerful alternator and motor all in one. So they call it a start-stop motor. So a lot of vehicles already have these, and they mass manufacture these things for many different types of vehicles. They're easy to get a hold of. Um, the next level up is that you can get a battery, 48-volt battery that goes on this, as you can see here with the wiring. And what that allows is that when you go to put your brakes on, it will use that power, regenerative braking, and put it back into the battery. And when you go to take off again, it'll reuse that. So this helps to reduce your fuel consumption um, by about anywhere from 10 to 15%. What it also does is it allows to be able to give power for everything else in the vehicle, which is your steering is electric now these days, your water pump, your fuel pump. There's a lot of things running in the vehicle, stuff for your suspension stuff now and computers. So it takes that off. The other thing it does is it provides the electricity for the hydrogen. So what's really cool is that the challenge with these systems is that they're only for specific vehicles. And what we've done is on the right-hand side, that's a Bach 2000 ASI made in Waterloo, Canada. And what it does is it makes it so it's somewhat open source. So what we can do is we can now use an off-the-shelf start-stop motor, these 48-volt mild hybrid, um, motors that'll rapidly start your vehicle. And now we can make it work with any vehicle. And that has been the biggest barrier. So now we can make it work with any vehicle. Um, so that when you put the brakes on, it collects electricity, use that to help you get started again, but it also makes the electricity for the electrolysis, which is the next part. Next slide. So electrolysis has been done for a very long time for vehicles, but generally you're looking at, before I get into this, the last kit, those ones, if you have a start-stop motor and you need a battery, um, and the controller to make that work, you're looking at a $500 to $1,000. You're looking at about $1,200 to $1,500 when you get a battery. So it depends on um, how big the battery is. So it depends on how much you're driving and what long distance stuff. Because a lot of these plug-in hybrids will assist you up to 20, 30, 40 miles type stuff, right? Um, so it just depends on what you're doing. If you're in the gig economy and you're driving Uber or Amazon Prime, or you have a fleet of vehicles like a Sprinter van or a Ford Transit type stuff, that's what these things they generally come in, right? Next slide. So electrolysis has been around for a very long time, very well proven. You put electricity into water, it splits into hydrogen and oxygen, and then that goes into the air intake, and that gives you about a 10 to 15% fuel savings. The challenge has been a couple things. One is it takes a lot of electricity to do it. Number two, trying to make it work with the computer, because as your air fuel mixture changes, as you put your foot down on the gas, has been a big challenge because trying to get into those proprietary computers for all the different makes and models has been a huge problem. So with this, the bottom left-hand corner, the cell, that's the reactor. So that's where the electricity goes into. And then at the top there, that's where your water goes in. Um, and this will, what happens is that because this has been integrated and optimized with the kit that was just above this, the electric motor slash generator alternator will uh, will actually help the motor in that area where it needs it most when it first takes off from a standing stop. So when that happens, you no longer need to be able to talk to the computer to be able to do the air fuel mixture. So they really complement each other. The Also, because the regenerative braking and being able to plug it in, you now offload the electricity for the electrolysis for making the hydrogen into it's now coming from this 48-volt battery from the regenerative braking as well. So that adds a huge amount of efficiency. Now, hydrogen, your vehicle you're driving right now is it uses what's called a hydrocarbon, right? Which is gasoline or diesel. And the largest consumer of hydrogen in the world actually is the oil industry, oil and gas industry, because they use it to be able to refine the oil into gasoline and diesel. So think about it like when you inject this this hydrogen and oxygen, you put it into the air intake. What it's doing is further refining the fuel. It's like going from like regular fuel to a premium or high octane fuel, right? So it's a more complete burn. It's much quicker. It doesn't have as many issues as far as emissions go. So um, the really cool part is this allows you to do the third thing, which is you can take your catalytic converter off. Now, your catalytic converter, it gets rid of the emissions, but it creates back pressure on the motor, which creates heat. And then it's a honeycomb material with rare earth materials in there. And then what that does is it burns off all the unburnt stuff that makes all the pollution. Now, what that does, though, is it lowers your horsepower and your torque, and it also lowers your fuel economy. And it also uses rare earth materials that are competing with head-on with batteries. So what's happening is that these, people are stealing these. I was just at a restaurant the other day, and Ford Transit van diesel, the replacement cost, they were just stolen off of them for their replacement cost is $6,000. So that's incredible. So when you combine the hydrogen with the plug-in hybrid kit, 48-volt light hybrid kit, you can now take the catalytic converter off and still pass emissions. So you take a catalytic converter off and get anywhere, depending on the size of the vehicle, $500 to $4,000 or $5,000. So that helps to be able to highly subsidize or even pay for this complete system. And now, if you add all these things up, the first one will give you a 10 to 15% savings, and the second one will give you a 10 to 15% savings. And then when you take the catalytic converter off, you can Google on the internet, you can find out that people have been doing this for a long time. They'll take the catalytic converter off and find immediately that they'll get anywhere from 10 to 15% fuel savings and horsepower and torque. The engine also runs at a cooler temperature, so the oil lasts longer. It has more torque, so that you don't shift as often with your transmission, so it's smoother and the transmission lasts longer. You don't have as many tune-ups, spark plugs and stuff and so on. So the ongoing costs are a lot less as well to be able to maintain the vehicle. Next slide. We'll just play this video here to give you an idea of what we're talking about.
The 48-volt efficient and eco-friendly driving with the 48-volt eco-drive system from Vitesco Technologies. This is David. In order to stay mobile for both his job and his private life, he is reliant on his car. But the cost of gas and the high level of CO2 emissions worry him, which is why he's been thinking about a fuel-efficient and environmentally friendly alternative. David has heard a lot about electric cars and hybrids, but they're still too expensive. There just has to be another option. The 48-volt eco-drive system from Vitesco Technologies offers David the perfect solution. With this new type of car engine, he can drive efficiently and in an environmentally friendly way, and all at an affordable price. A brilliant system for all types of vehicle worldwide, which can be combined with both gas and diesel engines. David wonders, What does this mean exactly, and how is it different from other engine systems? In addition to optimizing gas and diesel motors, Vitesco Technologies is driving forward bespoke electrification. As well as fully electric engines, they also offer a wide range of hybrid systems. These work with a combination of two engines, a combustion engine and an electric engine. The new 48-volt technology is part of these systems. Instead of an alternator, this solution uses a belt-driven starter generator, which takes the starter motor and the alternator and combines the two functions in a small electric motor. This system is supplemented with a small, cost-efficient 48-volt battery and a voltage transformer, which is responsible for the exchange of energy between the onboard power systems. This creates a low-cost engine solution for everyone and every vehicle. 48-volt EcoDrive system means more brakes for your motor. If David takes his foot off the gas, the system switches into coasting mode. This turns off the combustion engine while the car continues to glide forward with the ongoing momentum. It even has enough energy when driving on the highway to overtake another car while still maintaining the same speed. Energy that would otherwise be lost by braking is cleverly retained by the power system. This so-called recuperation process guarantees that when braking, all the energy is diverted to the 48-volt battery and stored there until it can be put to good use again later. Thanks to the stable 48-volt onboard power system, David can use a lot of the electrical functions without needing to use the combustion engine. The system also supports the combustor, making it more agile. For example, with the help of e-boosting, the electric motor provides extra power for accelerating and driving uphill. And what's more, David can now start his engine more quickly and more quietly. David is very impressed. Thanks to the numerous energy-saving functions of the 48-volt EcoDrive system, he can cut down his fuel consumption by up to 21%, thereby also lowering his CO2 emissions considerably, something both the environment and David's wallet can be happy about. Awesome. Efficient and
Okay. So our goal is to be the one that integrates all of this and puts it all together. So with the ASI controller, and we bought a dev kit and started working with this about 4 years ago to work with electric bikes and electric motorcycles. So if you want to, what we're looking for is people to do a refundable deposit. It'd be 3 to 9 months to be able to get the system. We're just doing trials here in Toronto, Canada right now, and some in Costa Rica. The trick is that we can make off-the-shelf batteries and off-the-shelf alternators work with this, as well as off-the-shelf electrolysis systems and integrate them. So depending on what your need is. So we're going to create a database and work with people to do that. So if you take a case where you're spending $2,000 or $3,000 a month because you're driving Uber, or it's a fleet vehicle type stuff doing delivery, your return on investment, if you take your catalytic converter off, get $1,000 for that. You'd be looking at anywhere from a 3 to 6 month payback type stuff, maybe less depending on your driving and depending on what size of battery that you put in the vehicle and how often you plug it in. So, but it is possible for some people, they're spending $3,000 or more to be able to see enough of a return that it could happen fairly quickly. So the business model that we want to do is there are government incentives also on top of that. So some people can actually get this and then see an immediate return on their investment. So an ROI of now, return on investment of now, because there are programs around the world for anywhere from $1,000 to $3,500 for used plug-in hybrids for kits and stuff. So it ticks all the boxes for being able to do that. So it can be possible for people to get this kit, and it costs them $0, because by the time you put the catalytic converter and sell it and do this, then and get the money back from the government, you can see savings very, very quickly. So the model we want to do is we want to make this into something where we have some in-house financing as well to be able to do this, so that we can just make it a monthly fee, and you can rent the actual device, and you put it on your vehicle. So initially, we'll sell the ASI controllers and then bundle that with all the rest of the third-party vendors to be able to integrate that along with the wiring that's required to be able to do that, along with the electrolysis and integrating and optimizing that to make it work with it. Um, so the ultimate model, what we want to do, we want to make dangerous and dirty energy financially obsolete, and we'd like to reduce the emissions and the cost of fuel worldwide. But we also like to make a business opportunity for your Uber driver type stuff, right? So imagine, you get this and you see a 1/3 to 50% fuel reduction and lower your costs, and your performance of your vehicle goes up, right? You're able to take off from a standing stop faster, right? So you're able to get to where you want to go quicker. So what we want to do is rent these devices for a monthly fee. And then what happens is we take 20% of the fuel savings, and what we do is give that to the people above you that signed you up. So like a network marketing company. So what would happen would be um, you would show this to other people, and then other people would sign up other people, and you get a percentage of what they're paying on a monthly basis, and it would be turnkey. So it'd be a rental, so replacement, warranty, service, everything, remote monitoring, remote management with an app on your phone to be able to monitor the device and to be able to do whatever you need. It'll all be in there. So what do we base this on? Um, Really simple. There's 2 billion engines running in the world right now, and if you can reduce the cost and the fuel by 30 to 50%, that's a huge thing in the world today, obviously economically. Now, if you can make a business opportunity out of some of those savings and pass it on to the people that recommended it, that's huge for gig economy drivers as well, obviously, because it's hard to make money and you burn up your asset, which is your vehicle, fairly quickly. So if you can make your asset last longer and cost less to maintain and to run for the fuel, but you can share that with other people, you could potentially retire fairly quickly because you show it enough other people, they get signed up, and then you get a somewhat passive income from all those customers, right? Um, Now, where this comes from is uh, Mercedes-Benz or Benz patented the car, and they've done most of the innovations as far as Mercedes-Benz goes. Back in the day, there was never a diesel engine in a car. They were just in trucks, and they thought it to be too big, and the transmission would be too big and too noisy and too dirty and stuff and so on. You don't need them for cars. But Mercedes made one, put in a car, and then they put it into taxis. And what happened was people get into the taxi, and then the taxi driver would say, "Oh yeah, it's got incredible amounts of miles on it and still runs fine. The maintenance costs are really low. The fuel costs are lower because diesel is much more efficient." And then that was really their marketing campaign. So it was experiential. People had an experience, and then a lot of people got the Mercedes diesels because of that, right? So this is the same. Now, if you take a look at an electric vehicle, cradle to grave, their carbon footprint takes them 2 to 3 years to catch up, and then depends where the energy is coming from, and there's a lot of things that are a bit of a challenge there, right? Getting infrastructure, getting new cars these days, all these things are a problem, right? So this is a really good transitional technology, right? The big part that's going to be happening here is that we're going to get carbon credits as well. Elon Musk with Tesla sold Fiat $2 billion worth of carbon credits. So it's a real thing. It's a real thing, that's for sure. So we're going to be able to track and earn those as well, and we would share those between ourselves and the people that sign the other people up and the end users as well. So that'll be something to be shared among other people as well. And our ultimate goal is to be an open source company with the ability to be able to do money from training, certification, customization, consulting, the carbon credits, and the analytics. And that's what we want to do here, is to be able to put it up, and then everybody with any type of vehicle, we'll start off with the most popular ones, the most used ones: F-150, Toyota RAV4, Corolla, all those the mass-produced vehicles first, and then as more and more people sign up. So what you can do is there'll be links down below here for some more stuff, and please ask questions and we'll respond back. And there'll be links down below to be able to do a deposit that's refundable, and that will help us to be able to shore that up with institutional and and other funding to be able to fund the project, to be able to make this thing happen for everyone. So you can all get a kit, and you can all make a business out of it, and you can help the environment while saving money at the same time. Thanks for your time, and looking forward to your questions and helping the whole world to be able to get this in place.
Thanks, guys. This is about, we're going to wrap it up here, and thanks for giving us the opportunity and listening to our proposal and what we've had. Take care, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.